I will say his actions were nothing short of heroic. He engaged the gunman from quite a distance with a handgun, was very proficient in that, very tactically sound, and as he moved to close in on the suspect, he was also motioning for people to exit behind him. He has, to our knowledge, he has no police training and no military background.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a mass shooting that happened in Greenwood, Indiana, which is not far from Indianapolis. This is at the Greenwood Park Mall. A man went into the mall. I'm not sure if he had a rifle, a handgun, or whatever it was. It doesn't really matter. But he goes into the mall and he begins to shoot. Now, unfortunately, he killed at least 3 people and injured many others. Fortunately, the rainbow to the end of the story is that the shooter himself was also killed right there. Now, here's the question. Who was he killed by? Was he killed by the federales? No, they weren't there. Was he killed by the police? No, they weren't there. Military? No. Who was he killed by? Regular guy in the mall, 22 years old, from that particular area in the rural part of Indiana. He happened to be in the food court. He saw what was happening, pulled his handgun, hit him with 10 rounds, killed him right there on the spot. So shout out to that man, to that young man, 22 years old. I'm not sure if he's in the military, if he's a marksman or whatever. He was just in the mall, minding his business. Then he sees this whole thing play out. Now, here's a few facts. First of all, Indiana just passed the constitutional carry law. So you're able to carry a weapon with no license. Now, some are going to say, well, hey, ABL, that's going to promote people to go out here and have guns and do all kind of crazy things with it. Well, there's laws against just shooting people indiscriminately. There's laws against murder. There's also a rule at the mall that says you can't have guns in the mall. The mall was a gun-free zone. So how did that work? How did it work that the shooter brought his gun into the mall and began killing people? I thought it was a gun-free zone. Maybe people don't recognize gun-free zones like that. And shout out to that Good Samaritan, the good guy with the gun, for not paying that sign any attention. You have a brand new law, constitutional carry. I'm able to carry my weapon, no permit. Okay, I'm seeing something's going on. I'm going to step in the threat right there. Because that could have been a lot worse. May all those who died rest in peace. Very unfortunate. Prayers out to your family. However, that could have been a lot worse. Rather than 3 or 4 dead, there could have been 15, 20, 25, 30, who knows? He was right in the food court in a crowded area, very congested. So you never know how many you could have killed right at that moment. But that didn't happen thanks to the Good Samaritan with his gun. And shout out to the police for commending him, saying that he's brave, he's the hero there, as they should, because that's exactly what he was. They did not try to find this guy and arrest him for having his weapon inside the food court. At least I don't think that's what happened. I think I heard that he may have been handcuffed right there on the scene because of the situation, but I don't believe he's going to get charged with any kind of crime, and he shouldn't be. I mean, if you can carry your gun in Indiana, constitutional carry with no license, and he was doing just that, he carried his gun lawfully, as the law says, you're law-abiding. If you break a mall rule, what's it going to be, a fine? You think they're going to enforce any kind of fine on this guy or ban him from the mall? This man saved the mall. He could have just stayed home with his peace that day. He could say, you know what? I don't want to go to the mall. It's a gun-free zone. I don't want to bring my weapon. He could have done that. And if he did that, the guy could have just been shooting indiscriminately, carrying on as he already was. And this is another example why we got to have people, we need to have more armed civilians, armed and trained. We live in a dangerous place. Sometimes, depending on the point where you live, it can be dangerous. You may live in a relatively safe place, but sometimes it can get dangerous. Okay, we got a wide open border. You got all kind of crazy policies in the books. We got drugs floating around. People are out of their minds. So you might be in the mall minding your business. All of a sudden, you're hearing gunshots. Now, what are you going to do? You want to protect your life, your immediate family's life, people around you. You want to protect them, innocent men, women, and children. So what are you going to do? it's better to be caught with it than to be caught without it. I'd rather the mall security come up to me and kick me out the mall for having my weapon rather than being caught in the food court and some moron is in there shooting his gun off and I can't do anything to stop it or defend myself or anybody else. So shout out to him again for doing that, for violating the mall policy about, the whole gun-free zone. This is another example of a shooter attacking an area that's perceived to be vulnerable. Okay, I'm gonna go to the food court. It's a gun-free zone. There's a lot of people in one area. I can get a lot of people hurt and or killed at once. That's probably the mind state. But fortunately for us, that wasn't going to be the case. There was a guy with a gun that was able to intervene and shut that whole thing down. So yeah, shout out to him and shout out to the police for looking out for him. And you guys, wherever you live, I don't care if it's a red state, blue state, try to make it a little bit more conservative so you're able to have laws like this on the books. People like Stacey Abrams want to run on the whole anti-gun campaign in Georgia, thinking that's going to work. Maybe that's a California liberal giving you that advice to run on the whole anti-gun campaign, but that won't work in Georgia. Black folks, white folks, Puerto Rican, Candy Stripe, everybody in Georgia wants their guns. And that's the case in most conservative type states. Now in California, unfortunately, the majority of the voters want to be just held to the will of the crackhead crazies on the street, the Democratic politicians, and maybe the police will come through and help you. You might call the police. It could be a home invasion. You got 15 guys on your front porch, all armed with fully illegal, fully automatic Glock pistols. They're all between the ages of 13 and 16. Okay, you terrified with no weapon on you. Oh, you could be on the phone with the police, and by the time they get there, it'd probably be too late. It's better to arm yourself and be caught with it than to be caught without it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the 22-year-old young man out there in Indiana who saved the day? Good Samaritan. There's a mass shooting happening. He steps in immediately to put him on down. Hit him with 10 rounds, or he fired 10 rounds. I don't know if he hit him with 10, but he fired 10, hit the guy. He's dead right there on the spot. I've seen other parts of the country where that could have been done, where somebody was shooting and they could have been stopped or somebody shot him, but it didn't happen. I don't want to go down that road, so I digress. The whole point is, shout out to him and anyone like him that's going to step up to the plate to see danger happening and to end the threat of danger. It's not even about the person being killed. It's about the threat being ended. You're coming in here, shooting your gun off, indiscriminately hitting men, women, and children. You got to get put down. Point blank, period. I support you. Your community supports you. The police support you. And that's the way it should be all over the USA, rather than trying to deprive Americans of our right to keep and bear arms. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.